When Nintendo was riding high with the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, they released a game that not only pushed the boundaries of the console, but also set the stage for 3D gaming as we know it, Star Fox. Developed by Nintendo in collaboration with the UK-based Argonaut Software, Star Fox was one of the first console games to feature fully 3D polygonal graphics, a groundbreaking feat at the time. It wasn't just about the visuals, though. Star Fox introduced players to an unforgettable universe, brimming with spacefaring adventure, tight aerial combat, and anthropomorphic heroes led by a charismatic fox named Fox McCloud. The game was heavily inspired by classic sci-fi films like Star Wars, with its mix of daring space battles and epic stakes. But Star Fox also had its own distinct charm, blending high-tech science fiction with anthropomorphic animal characters in a way that shouldn't have worked, but absolutely did. Even today, the original Star Fox holds up as a fascinating piece of gaming history, a reminder of what can happen when a developer takes risks and pushes technology to its limits. The story of Star Fox is a classic tale of heroism, revenge, and the struggle to protect the galaxy. Set in the sprawling Lylat system, the narrative centers around the escalating conflict between the Cornerian army and a mad scientist named Andross, who has been banished to the barren planet Venom for his dangerous experiments. Andross, a brilliant but unstable mind, has turned Venom into a fortress and amassed a powerful army to exact his revenge on the galaxy. His ultimate goal? Total domination of the Lylat system. Enter the Star Fox team, a group of skilled mercenaries led by the courageous Fox McCloud. Fox has a personal stake in the mission. His father, James McCloud, was a legendary pilot who mysteriously disappeared during a reconnaissance mission to Venom, betrayed by a fellow pilot, Pigma Dengar. Now, Fox carries the legacy of his father, determined not only to stop Andross, but to honor James's sacrifice. The game's story unfolds as players progress through branching paths across the Lylat system. The campaign begins on the planet Corneria, the heart of the system, and the first line of defense against Andross's forces. After an intense battle to fend off an invasion, the Star Fox team sets out on a journey that takes them through hostile asteroid fields, enemy-controlled planets, and eventually to the forbidding planet Venom itself. The choice-based progression is a key part of Star Fox's storytelling. Players can decide which routes to take, allowing them to explore different planets and experience varied challenges. Each path offers a different piece of the overall narrative, from skirmishes with Andross's forces to encounters with rival mercenaries like the Star Wolf team. One of the most memorable aspects of the story is the mid-mission dialogue. As you pilot your R-Wing, your teammates constantly communicate with you, calling out for help, offering advice, or just bantering in a way that reinforces their personalities. These moments, though brief, make the team feel like real comrades, heightening the tension when they're in trouble and giving a sense of satisfaction when you come to their rescue. While the story of Star Fox isn't overly complex, its combination of high-stakes action, memorable characters, and branching paths gives it a unique charm. It's a testament to how even a relatively simple narrative can be elevated by strong world-building and character development. The gameplay of Star Fox is where it truly shines, offering a mix of exhilarating space combat, strategic decision-making, and a level of immersion that was groundbreaking for its time. At its core, Star Fox is an on-rails shooter, meaning that while you control your R-Wing spacecraft's movements, the game itself dictates the forward momentum. This design keeps the action fast-paced and focused, throwing enemies, obstacles, and environmental hazards at you in a carefully choreographed sequence that feels both challenging and cinematic. Controlling the R-Wing is intuitive but nuanced. Players can move the ship in all directions within the screen's frame, allowing for precision aiming and evasive maneuvers. The R-Wing is equipped with laser cannons for blasting enemies and smart bombs for devastating area attacks. But these tools require strategic use. Button mashing will only get you so far. One of the game's most innovative mechanics is the introduction of barrel rolls, achieved by quickly tapping the shoulder buttons. This maneuver not only dodges enemy fire, but also deflects certain projectiles, adding a defensive layer to the combat. Another feature is the ability to change the speed of your R-Wing using boost and brake functions, allowing players to adapt to the fast-paced gameplay or navigate tight spaces more carefully. Each stage is unique, from the lush fields and towering skyscrapers of Corneria to the chaotic asteroid belts and treacherous alien-infested planets. The levels are packed with enemies, including waves of enemy ships, ground turrets, and menacing bosses, each requiring quick reflexes and a keen sense of timing to overcome. The bosses in particular are highlights, featuring creative designs and attack patterns that test your skills in different ways. Helping or rescuing your teammates adds an additional layer of strategy to the gameplay. During missions, your fellow pilots, Peppy, Falco, and Slippy, can be attacked by enemies, and if they take too much damage, they'll retreat from battle and be unavailable for future missions. Keeping your team alive isn't just about camaraderie. Their presence can be crucial, as they provide helpful dialogue, assist in taking down enemies, and even give you hints about boss weaknesses. However, their AI isn't perfect. Slippy, in particular, has a tendency to get into trouble, adding a touch of frustration to the experience. One of the game's more divisive mechanics is its difficulty. While some players relish the intense challenge, others may find it punishing, especially during later levels where enemy waves become relentless, and obstacles come at you with little margin for error. The limited continues and lack of mid-level checkpoints mean that mistakes can be costly, requiring players to start over from the beginning of a stage. However, for many, this level of difficulty adds to the game's charm, providing a sense of accomplishment with every victory. Ultimately, the gameplay of Star Fox is a masterclass in design, blending cutting-edge technology with timeless mechanics. It's the perfect mix of arcade-style action and strategic decision-making, ensuring that every playthrough feels fresh and exciting. Powered by the Super FX chip, the game brought polygonal 3D graphics to the Super Nintendo, a feat that seemed impossible at the time. While most other games on the console relied on richly detailed 2D sprites, Star Fox opted for a bold, futuristic aesthetic that used minimalist polygons to create spacecraft, environments, and enemies. This decision not only set it apart visually, but also symbolized the forward-thinking ambition of its developers. The graphical style was polarizing then, and remains so today. The sharp, angular shapes and basic textures were groundbreaking, but undeniably simple. For fans, this simplicity became part of the game's charm, emphasizing clarity and function over realism. The clean, polygonal visuals made it easy to focus on the fast-paced action without unnecessary clutter, a critical feature for an on-rail shooter where quick reflexes were key. That said, the limitations of the Super FX chip were noticeable, with occasional slowdowns and jagged edges marring the fluidity of gameplay. Still, for its time, Star Fox offered a glimpse into the future of 3D gaming, and players were more than willing to overlook its rough edges. The game's use of scaling and rotation effects, features already made famous by the Super Nintendo's Mode 7, helped create a convincing sense of depth and motion. Watching enemy ships approach from the horizon or weaving through a rotating corridor made the game feel alive, even within its technical constraints. Where the graphics laid the foundation, the sound design brought the Lilat system to life. Composed by Hajime Hirasawa, the soundtrack for Star Fox is a masterful blend of orchestral grandeur and pulse-pounding action. From the triumphant opening theme that sets the stage for adventure to the intense battle tracks that accompany the game's climactic moments, every piece of music feels perfectly suited to its context. The soundtrack adds an emotional weight to the gameplay, making even simple skirmishes feel like epic battles in a larger galactic war. Sound effects play an equally vital role in immersing players. The hum of your R-Wing's engines, the sharp blasts of your lasers, and the chaotic explosions of enemy ships all contribute to the sense of being in the middle of a sprawling space conflict. Perhaps most iconic are the voices of your teammates, delivered in the game's unique Lilat gibberish. While the Super Nintendo couldn't handle fully voiced dialogue, the developers created a clever workaround by using a series of beeps, warbles, and synthesized tones to represent speech. Together, the graphics and sound design of Star Fox work in harmony to create an experience that is both immersive and distinct. While the visuals push the boundaries of what was technically possible on the Super Nintendo, the sound added depth and character, pulling players deeper into the adventure. It's a testament to the game's design that, despite its dated technology, Star Fox remains a joy to experience. Its sights and sounds forever etched into the memories of those who took to the stars with Fox McCloud and his crew. The legacy of Star Fox is as vast as the Lilat system itself. Upon its release in 1993, it not only pushed the limits of what the Super Nintendo could do, but also laid the groundwork for the future of 3D gaming. Few games from the 16-bit era can claim to have influenced the industry as profoundly as Star Fox. It wasn't just a great game, it was a glimpse into what video games could become, and its impact is still felt today. At the heart of its legacy is the Super FX chip, a revolutionary piece of technology developed by Argonaut Software in partnership with Nintendo. By incorporating this chip into the cartridge, Star Fox brought 3D polygonal graphics to a home console at a time when such visuals were primarily seen in expensive arcade machines. Star Fox also carved out a place for itself as one of Nintendo's core franchises. The game's success ensured that Fox McCloud and his team would return for more adventures, beginning with Star Fox 64 in 1997. Widely regarded as one of the greatest games of its generation, Star Fox 64 refined the formula established by its predecessor, introducing new mechanics like all-range mode and the now iconic Rumble Pak support. However, the road hasn't always been smooth for the franchise. Despite its groundbreaking debut and the immense popularity of Star Fox 64, subsequent entries in the series struggled to maintain the same level of acclaim. Games like Star Fox Adventures and Star Fox Assault experimented with new genres and gameplay styles, with mixed results. In the broader context of Nintendo's history, Star Fox stands as a shining example of the company's ethos: innovation, creativity, and a willingness to take risks. It may not have the widespread recognition of Super Mario or The Legend of Zelda, but its impact on the medium is no less profound. Without Star Fox, the evolution of 3D gaming might have taken a very different path, and the industry as a whole would be poorer for it. So whether you're replaying the original on your Super Nintendo or enjoying it through a modern collection, Star Fox continues to inspire awe and excitement, reminding us of a time when taking to the stars was more than a fantasy. It was a groundbreaking adventure